This is an opportunity for Trump to rise above the victim ideology. If I were advising Donald Trump here, I would tell him to walk out and say, this is a direct attack on me because of my political beliefs. They are trying to humiliate me. They are trying to embarrass me. They are trying to keep me from being the nominee for the Republican Party. And what I want all of you to think about is the 240 years of American precedent that has now been broken. Hillary Clinton lied. Bill Clinton lied. Richard Nixon lied. Just in the last 50 years, none of them have ever faced any criminal charges for their lies. No presidential candidate, no former president has ever been charged with a crime before. This is what happens in banana republics. This is what happens in third world countries. Many of you came to America specifically to avoid this happening. Venezuela, Cuba, Russia, China, all of you with backgrounds in those countries recognize what is going on here. The chief political proponent, my rival, Joe Biden, and his political party are trying to put me in jail because they're afraid of me. I speak for all of you. I stand between you and tyranny. I stand between you and authoritarianism, totalitarianism, the use of all of our governmental apparatus to come after political opponents. I think that Hillary Clinton is a liar. I think that Bill Clinton is a liar. I don't just think that, it's proven. Neither of them ever faced criminal charges. In fact, Bill Clinton, sitting at the Resolute desk, got a blowjob from an intern. He then lied about it. On his final day in office, he paid a $25,000 fine and agreed to relinquish his law license. That's the punishment that he got. I haven't done that. I haven't even come close to doing that. All I have done is decide when I came down that escalator for the first time in 2015 that I was going to stand for exactly what I believed. And ever since I came down that escalator in 2015, I have been the primary target of the Democrat Party, and they've been willing to do any and everything to me and my family to try to put us in prison. But I'm still here. And I didn't have to do this. I was a billionaire. I was well liked. I could have ridden out the rest of my life and never needed to step into the political arena, but I couldn't do that because I saw what was happening to our country. And as a result, Democrats have been terrified of me. They lied about my campaign in 2016. They rigged the 2020 election rules to barely beat me by the slimmest of margins. 20,000 people changed their mind. I'm still president right now. And I'm going to kick Joe Biden's ass in 2024. And then, this is me talking as Trump, I would pivot and I would actually, and again, this is me speaking as Trump, I would say I'm no longer going to attack my rivals in the Republican primary because I have recognized that what is at stake is far bigger than any disagreements I might have with my Republican rivals for the nomination. This is about Joe Biden trying to destroy America, and I will not let him do that. From this point forward, I will not speak an ill word about any other Republican. I'm going to be bigger than that. I'm going to go directly to war with Joe Biden. This general election campaign, in my opinion, starts right now. I will be the Republican nominee. I will beat Joe Biden, and I will return sanity to America. That is my promise to you. That is the address that takes this, what I believe is colossal mismanagement by Democrats, and turns it into a massive advantage for Donald Trump. Is Trump disciplined enough to do that? I don't know. Trump has been, as you guys well know, a bull in a china shop. He often gets to the right results, but he breaks a ton of things along the way. That's frustrating. I understand it. Can Trump be disciplined, recognize the historic nature of these charges against him, also understand what that represents in terms of a threat to our national fabric as a republic democracy? If he can recognize that, and if he can rise to the level that we need when it comes to these unprecedented charges, then I think Trump will not only be the Republican nominee, I think he'll beat Joe Biden. But if he uses this to wallow in despair, to argue that he is a perpetual victim, then I believe it will actually work against him. So the question is for Trump, can he rise to the moment and deliver a sterling address, which not only would speak to his supporters, but also would motivate some people who may be relatively indifferent to politics, maybe even a lot of those recent immigrants, which I think it would surprise people if he addresses, about why this represents such a historic and unprecedented threat to our democracy. Democrats have been arguing that January 6th, 2021 was an unprecedented attack upon our democracy, the greatest since the Civil War. That's what the Biden administration has tried to argue. I would suggest to you that today, April 4th, 2023, is much more of a threat to American democracy than anything that happened in January or anything that Trump has said in the wake of the 2020 election. If Trump can rise to that level and make this case, and we'll see whether he can when he comes out of this courtroom and or when he addresses the nation tonight at Mar-a-Lago, then I believe he will return to the White House and be the nominee in 2024. If he can't, then I think this debate is going to turn into DeSantis versus Trump. And as I've told you from the get-go, I believe whoever the Republican nominee is will beat 82-year-old in 2024 Joe Biden in this presidential election. So let's see exactly what happens. It's a sad day. It's an unprecedented day. It's a historic day. And look, I think you have to think probabilistically. Anyone who tells you that they know exactly what the impact of this is going to be is, I think, a fool. I think they're charlatans. We don't know. We've never seen this before. In 2 years' time, you can come back and listen to this and you can say, well, this was the day that Trump won the 2024 election. Or you can make a case, this was the day when Democrats stacked the deck against Trump and they followed it up with charges in Georgia and they followed it up with Department of Justice charges in their special counsel investigation. And enough Americans just said, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of the Trump show. I'm tired of the reality show, that I want to turn the page to something else. I would tell you right now, as we speak on April 4th, I think these charges benefit Trump immensely. And if he responds to them as I told you that I think he should, if he does that, then I believe he will ride into the White House again and win in November of next year. Now, a lot of crazy things can happen. Nobody foresaw COVID. If we've been talking in January of 2020 or even early February, I was down at the Super Bowl in Miami. I felt Trump was going to win comfortably in November because everything was going great. Then COVID arrived. I think Trump would have beaten Biden soundly if COVID didn't happen. So maybe the Democrats have another trick up their sleeve. Maybe there's something else crazy that's going to happen in the next year and change. But 1 year from now, we will know probably who the Republican nominee is for president. We may know far sooner than that. We will see what ends up happening as all of this continues to play out. And Trump, as we are speaking right now, remains inside of that courtroom. Again, he has pled not guilty to 34 felony counts. He's also, not surprised, I advise this, he's also put mugshot T-shirts up for sale. We don't know, at least I haven't seen, whether Trump officially got a mugshot taken. There have been conflicting reports on this. The picture that they put up is an old picture that they turned into a mugshot, but Trump is now raising money by selling T-shirts of his mugshot. I don't think this is going to hurt Trump, certainly with Republicans, at least not in the short term.